Welcome to the Shooting the Q podcast, presented by Heath Riles BBQ, with tips, tricks, and an inside look with some of the top pitmasters in the game. Now here's your host, Heath Riles.
Welcome back to Shooting the Q, everybody. Today I'm joined by my lovely wife, Candace. How are you today, hon?
I'm good. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm still dragging my feet, too. It was a long trip to Orlando and back this past week.
Yeah, so we were gone for 7 nights, longest we've been away from our baby. And then so we went early for the opening of Chad Ward's new location, I guess, Whiskey Bent BBQ.
Yeah, so Whiskey Bent BBQ, for everybody that don't know Chad Ward, he is a director of marketing for Traeger Grills. And so even before Chad took that job at Traeger many years ago, we were friends with Chad. I mean, just because of Whiskey Bent BBQ, sent him on the circuit, us traveling to Florida, doing other events, things like that. And so he's had a store, like we said, for 10 years, but he found a bigger location. He went from, I think, about 1,000 or 1,500 square feet, something like that. I read that.
I saw it posted on Facebook, but I don't remember the exact number.
And now he's in like a 10 or 12,000 square foot location total. The showroom is not that huge. It's really
big,
good size, but they have a big, huge warehouse and a shipping facility. And what was really cool for me to see, we had been in Chad's store before and taught classes. I had. So he's got a full classroom that is huge, sectioned away from the store where you can't disturb the store business. And I just can't wait to get down there and honestly host a class at Chad's new location. It should be a really, really good time.
Yeah. So that's in Lakeland, Florida. I don't know if we said that for sure, but yeah, so we did the grand opening there, got to see a lot of old friends, new friends. I mean, what stuck out to you?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's always a good time when you see Matt Pittman, Cosmo, Burton Young, Amanda Reagan, Kendrick Barbecue, Chad, of course, Julie,
Rug Bagby was there.
And I'm sure I'm forgetting. There were so many different just fans and, so many people thanking us for what we do in the industry. We even seen some of the high school barbecue teams that we have sponsored down there, one of the coaches.
Yeah.
We met some Publix buyers at Chad's store, which hopefully that turned out, is going to turn into something good for us. And so it was just a lot of networking and a lot of good experience at Chad's store. It was a long day. That grand opening went on for about, 5 or 6 hours, I guess, and they served food samples. And
they had all kinds of samples. And, I mean, he did it right. When we pulled up, they had valet out there. You could valet if you wanted. Of course, Heath took advantage of that. But
well, if there's a valet, I'm going to valet. Let's go ahead and just set that standard now. If anybody offers a valet service, I'm not walking from way out in the parking lot. I'm going to go ahead and tip the gentleman and park my car with the valet service. It's just that simple.
So they had valet. They had lots of food all day long.
Live music,
cornhole, cold beer. I mean,
plenty of cold beer.
Yeah, and
had a pool table in the back.
They did have a pool table, and it was just there were lots of people through there all day long. I felt like it was never slow. Like they were just, and I don't mean just like everybody there as guests, but the general public really came out in support, I felt like.
So Chad's store was fantastic. We had a great time there, seeing everybody. Like I said, they really know how to throw a grand reopening, and I'm very proud for Chad and Nicole's success and able to move into a much larger venue and continue the growth of their business. So, talking about Lakeland, let's talk about some of the food we ate in Lakeland. Yeah. We had some pretty decent recommendations from Chad and several others. And Friday for lunch, we had Harry's Seafood, which is right around the corner from the hotel. And Harry's is just a small little restaurant, but it was almost like Irish themed kind of in a way.
No, it was like Cajun Creole, New Orleans type theme. And it was just like a really old school vibe in there, I felt like. I don't know how to describe it, but
we really didn't know what to expect with it. I'll say that. I was kind of leery when we first walked in. It kind of gave a different kind of vibe when we got there. They were kind of semi-busy because it was about 2. It was a late lunch.
It was like 2 or 3. I thought they were very busy for it to be like a weird time like that, honestly.
But I will tell you, the food that we seen on other tables looked great, and the boudin balls to me were some of the best boudin balls I have ever had. You didn't try them.
I didn't try them. I'm not.
They were so good.
Not normal. I don't like boudin
so
usually.
good.
We had fried green tomatoes too, and they were actually really good. I don't know if you.
Really good.
They had like, what did they have? Was it feta cheese or goat cheese on them?
It had feta cheese
and some kind of sauce. I thought those were really good.
They were really good too. I really
all the
enjoyed
food was good
balls.
there.
So, and then that night for dinner, we had Texas
Cattle Company.
Which
that was probably one of the best meals the whole time we were gone, in my opinion, just flavor wise. As
far as old school traditional steak, we split a filet. We weren't, both didn't want to order a big steak for dinner, so we split like a, what was it, 8-ounce filet or 12-ounce filet, 10-ounce, I don't even remember.
It was 10 or 12, I don't remember.
But we split it and ordered an extra salad and everything else, and I will tell you, that steak had a ton of wood flavor. It was simply seasoned, but the grilled over wood, I can honestly say that it had a great taste to it.
I agree, and I'm usually kind of weird about when it comes to wood and that kind of thing, but it was just like the perfect amount. I felt like it was great.
And so, talking about the next night, we went to a place called Francisco's
or Fresco's.
Fresco's. Well, I totally screwed that one up. Fresco's.
It was Fresco's.
Well,
we did have a server named Francesca later on in the trip.
I guess that's maybe what I was thinking about. Yeah, Fresco's. Southern Kitchen and Bar. It was more or less a farm-to-table place, and it was fantastic.
It was. It was just like a local. We just randomly wandered upon it and decided to go. It was really good. The service was really good. I think I had the meatloaf, which is kind of weird for me to order meatloaf, but it was like a fancy meatloaf. It wasn't just,
Yeah. Well, I actually had the burger, and Logan both, and it was a huge hand-patted out burger on a brioche bun. It had bacon jam, pimento cheese, some kind of special sauce, but it was honestly just fantastic to be a burger, and it made us go back the next morning for brunch, honestly.
Yep.
The manager recognized us.
Yep.
We had a different server, of course, and I will tell you, the server the night before was honestly Corey was his name, I believe.
Maybe. I don't remember.
I think Corey was his name.
I think you're
right.
But
I know we tipped him very well. That gentleman.
He was a good server.
Very, very good server. And when I find a server that is that knowledgeable, knows that much about the menu, can recommend things, describe things, it's hard for me not to tip that person. They've done their job. I tip them well. I tip everybody, but tip them really well. Yeah. But the food was fantastic. So talking about brunch the next day, I can't remember what I had.
I think I had pancakes, and I do remember they had like a maple butter, because I didn't even use syrup. I remember the maple butter they had was really good.
I had the chicken and waffles. I remember now. It was like a artesian chicken and waffles almost.
I don't think so.
Am I getting that mixed up with another
Yeah,
day?
that was a different place that you and Logan
no, that
went.
was the next day. Yes, it was. I am getting mixed up now.
You always get mixed up.
Well, we had so many different things. That was the next day in Orlando.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I had for breakfast that morning.
I don't know. The breakfast wasn't as memorable as the dinner, but it was still good.
Oh, it was great. Farm to table place. I remember the jams and all was homemade, which way far above anything else. Yeah. So that Sunday, we make our stretch back to Orlando after we have brunch and get to our hotel. We can't check in yet. Of course, we head over to the trade show at the Orange County Convention Center.
Once we found where
what door we supposed to go in,
Gosh,
getting badges, getting this, it was kind of a headache, but we got there and found our stuff, our booth anyway, and our delivery guy had not made it with our pallet of product or anything yet. He had a blowout. So we left and went to lunch and come back, and by that time he was there, and he had our product at our booth for us already. He wheeled it in there. He was a great driver and got us taken care of. We set everything up, and we rolled out, and Monday we didn't have to do anything but come back over to the show and really just put the final touches on the booth. And then
so Sunday and Monday were set up, and the actual show didn't start till Tuesday.
So we went Tuesday and Wednesday to the show, and Thursday a half a day, and then packed down what we're going to pack down. Got it shipped back, and then jumped on an airplane and flew back on Friday. But backing up to talk about a few of the things at the Ace Hardware Trade Show, just seeing a lot of our friends, Matt Pittman and Cosmo were there, and we had just seen them at Chad's grand opening. And then we had our other friends, like Blues Hog, Tim Shear, and Mark Bayless, and several of those guys. You had Truff Hot Sauce, you had Spiceology. Dan O's was right beside us. Dan was not there, but his sales manager, Sean, was. Really, really great people. That was my first time really meeting any of those guys. Same way with the Spiceology.
Bear
people.
and Burton were there for the trade show.
Bear and Burton both was there. That's right. Bear come in, and Elliot. He come
Max,
in.
the meat guy, was actually there for
Max,
a minute
the meat
with W Sauce guys.
Well, Al Ferroni come in. Mike Starr from Blazing Star come in. I think he come in with Cosmo. I never seen Mark Lambert, but I know he was there, and he lives right here where we're at. I think he was cooking for somebody there.
Benny Kendrick was there as well.
Benny Kendrick. Seen Alan Smith with Boar's Not Out. I know him and Eric was there out there cooking. Seen Craig Kimmel with Firehouse Barbecue out of Florida. I could keep naming names. There were so many people we recognized and
Drosco
seen.
Sauce people were there.
Drosco Sauce people.
They weren't actually set up at the show, but they were just kind of walking around.
And for the people that don't know Drosco's Sauce, we hope to have it available on our website soon. They are from South Africa, and they have a really good sweet Thai chili sauce that they make. They have a mild chutney, and they have a hot chutney. And I can tell you they are both fantastic on meats and seafoods and things like that. Just incredible flavor. So talking about Monday, after when we left for lunch, we kind of went over to, on Sunday we went to eat lunch when we left the trade show.
Lunch?
Yeah, we went over to.
Sunday we went to BJ's. I think it's just a chain.
Yeah, it's a chain.
It wasn't bad.
Actually, Big Papa Smokers actually sells rub to BJ's chain and brew house. And so
I had some key lime lager beer or something that was
pretty
really
good.
weird. It tasted like apple juice to me. I don't know where the key lime came from, but
yeah,
it wasn't bad.
well, I had some fish and chips there. It was pretty good. Monday, we rolled over to Top Golf, and one guest that we did not talk about, we seen our buddy Bobby T.
Yep.
And so him and his wife were actually in Florida at Disney on their anniversary.
Yep.
And so we invited them over to Top Golf with us, and we had a little team building over at Top Golf with some of our people, and had a really good time. And I was actually hitting barefooted because I wore flip-flops over to Top Golf.
Yep. That was my first time going to Top Golf. I guess they're opening one here local to us, but it's not open yet. So
what was your experience at Top Golf?
I enjoyed it. I used to hit golf balls all the time, but haven't done it now in I don't know how many years, as you could probably tell. But I think I got a little better as time went on through the night, but I feel like we weren't really trying that hard. We were all just kind of swapping.
I know. I would go back and play now for real, especially after barely getting beat. I didn't know we were like really playing for.
I wasn't really
for
playing,
real. So I'm ready to go back now, and let's I'm ready to put on a show for y'all. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So we left there, and where did we go to dinner at?
We went to Rocco's Tacos.
Rocco's Tacos that night. They had great margaritas, and the food was actually really good, I thought.
Yeah, I thought the food.
Like Tex-Mex type food.
I got some kind of shrimp tacos, and they were actually really spicy, but they were good. They were just really spicy.
Their tacos are kind of real traditional. They're hard shell tacos, which is kind of cool. Really good. And then Tuesday, of course, we had the show all day long.
8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
6 p.m. And so on the show floor from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., we may have took a 20-minute break to grab some lunch. But when you're talking to as many vendors as we were talking to, it was kind of hard to even eat during all that.
Yeah.
So we left there and went back to the hotel and immediately left and went to dinner. And we went to Tuesday night we went to Ocean's Prime, correct?
Yes, I think that's correct.
And I will tell you, the waiter, Miguel, was great. He knew about barbecue because he had worked in a barbecue joint in Miami before. Yeah. The lobster mac and cheese was really good. It's a truffle mac and cheese. Lobster mac and cheese was really good. The calamari, the wedges were good. We had some good wine. It was a fantastic meal, just fantastic meal. So if you're ever down in the Orlando area and want to check out a really, really good dining spot, Ocean's Prime is really, really good. Wednesday, we left and went to Eddie V's.
Yeah, we had the show again, full day, and then, we went to Eddie V. Is that show? We went there Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we went to Eddie V's on Wednesday, and Eddie V's was good. The seafood tower was.
The appetizer.
The appetizers were fantastic at Eddie V's. I don't know if they were just having a bad night or what, but our steaks and meal kind of come out before the salads and everything else, and it kind of got mixed up. But they made it right. Good people. Seemed to be turned out good. So Thursday we were back at the show, and the show luckily ended at noon on Thursday.
Yeah.
And so we immediately, it didn't take us long to roll out, and we found a lunch spot at Chuy's, which was a Tex-Mex place.
Yeah, and it's a chain. It's not like, whatever, just there. But I'd been there before. It's really good. They have good margaritas there. And I'm not even a big margarita person, but I think everything I had there was good, though.
I thought it was very good.
Yeah, it's just like Tex-Mex, nothing fancy.
And then that night, we decided to go to Vito's Chop House.
That's where Francesca was the waitress.
That's where I got that mixed up at. But I will tell you, the Vito's Chop House was probably right there with the Ocean's Prime, in my opinion. It was really good. What did you order?
Wine. Every night.
You had a lot of wine. You had a lot of wine. You did. You did have a lot of wine.
No, I ordered I guess it was like a rigatoni with a vodka sauce. It wasn't the favorite that I've ever had of that dish, but it was
spicy to be a vodka
It was
sauce.
pretty spicy, and it did say that it was spicy, so I wasn't ordering it not knowing that. But usually when they say a vodka sauce is kind of spicy, it's not that spicy. That one definitely was. It was good. It just was not quite what I'm used to, I guess. But it was good.
So me and the other guys all ordered chicken parm after we seen it come out. And I will tell you, the chicken parm was larger than this sheet of paper right here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And she even tried to tell y'all, like, that's a lot. Y'all are going to have a lot left. That's a whole lot. Yeah, that's a lot. And you're like, I want to order this. I want to order it. All three of y'all ordered it.
We literally,
this big.
All three of us could have split that chicken parm.
Yeah, and probably still had some left.
And then they brought out some garlic cheese bread, which we then
was very good.
Proceeded to cut open and put the chicken parm on. And I will tell you, they need to serve that sandwich on the menu. The bread absolutely killer with the chicken parm. It was really, really good. Really good. But that was kind of the cap off to our Orlando trip. And then we got on a plane Friday and come home. But we had a great time at the ACE event with people. It's always great when you can see all your friends and everybody else. It's literally.
I think it was a learning experience too. So that was our first
official trade show.
First trade show doing it as Heath Riles BBQ. We've been with other partners along the way, kind of doing some stuff, but not ever fully on our own, like doing everything. So I think we learned some things, know what we can do better on our end.
Yeah, time. And talking about partners, both Yeti and Royal Oak was there. They had booths. Yeti
was there.
Yeah, Traeger was there. Yeti had a enormous booth. It was really nice, really thought out, really planned. Royal Oak had a regular booth like ours. Charcoal's kind of straightforward.
Traeger's was really thought out.
Traeger's was kind of thought out too.
Matching jerseys one day they all wore, and then the next day they had other matching shirts. It was pretty cool. You could tell they had really put some thought into it.
Well, they always do that every trade show.
And they were the only ones that had beer for everybody at 5 o'clock.
No, Gonzi did.
Oh, sorry.
That's where the first beers come from the first
I
day.
didn't know that. My bad. I thought they both came from Traeger.
The Gonzi pizza ovens.
Gotcha. Well, I was not aware. I didn't get to walk around a lot.
Well, I slipped off, and that's where that beer come from when I was there.
Gotcha.
You know me, I sniff that kind of stuff out.
I was too busy working. Somebody had to work.
I was working too. But other than that, it was a great trip down to Orlando. Always, like I said, seeing good friends and good times and good food is always a good time. There's a lot of laughs that we probably can't talk about.
We did, but the one thing we didn't talk about that we said we were going to talk about, so there's the swing in Orlando that we drove by. What was it? We wrote it down. The Star Flyer. So every time we would go somewhere, Uber, driving ourselves, whatever, the swing is just there. It's super high. None of us rode it, but it said it's like 450 feet in the air, which it doesn't even sound like a lot, I feel like, but it was terrifying.
I would not get on that carnival type swing is what it looked like, a carnival swing, but it went up triple the amount in the air. It was so huge. And no. I would be the dude they wrote about getting slung out of that thing over there somewhere.
Ended up in Miami.
Yeah, ended up in Miami.
Slung off in Orlando, ended up in Miami.
Blur runs through sky. Everybody thinks it's flew through sky. They think it's a falling star, right?
We tried to get everybody to do it that we were with, and nobody would do it.
Nobody had that courage. I didn't even have that liquid courage. I mean, it was too bad.
No, it was really high up. Really, really high up. There's lots of things in Orlando to do. We didn't do any of that kind of stuff, but I guess it's just such a family-oriented place.
Yeah, it is such a family-oriented place, no doubt. So that leads us into one of our favorite parts of the show, mailbag questions. So let's answer some questions this week that the viewers have wrote in and want to know about.
Best way to do a turkey or ham on an offset, from Garrett Will on Facebook.
Well, I would say the magic number is always going to be 250 to 275 degrees for smoking a ham or a turkey like that. And I prefer 275 to 300, honestly. I say 250, but it probably needs to be 275 to 300. I feel like that on a stick burner, all you really need to do is keep the turkey spritz with a little bit of butter, or maybe mop with some kind of butter every now and then, or maybe even pan it up when it gets the color you want, to finish cooking. The ham, you just want to kind of watch it. Most hams are already smoked anyway, so you're double smoking it, warming it back up to food safe temp, and kind of glazing it. But the offset, I like using pecan wood or hickory wood to get a real good traditional taste, but it just kind of depends on what flavor you want.
Yeah, I guess it is almost that time of year already. Next one. What are some of the major differences between a barbecue cook at home versus doing a competition barbecue? From the prep to the cook to the number of adult beverages consumed. Calvin Baker on Facebook.
All right. Well, that is a great question. I can tell you there is a totally 90-degree difference in both of them, because at a contest, I'm trimming just about every little particular piece of silver skin off of a brisket or a butt or ribs. I'm really making sure they're good in uniform shape. I'm just really taking my time with that competition meat. I'm weighing it. I know my cook times when I trim down to a certain weight, everything. When it's at home, I'm cutting a Boston butt out of the pack. I'm not trimming the fat cap off. I cook it totally different. I cook it fat side up most of the time so it don't stick to the grill. In contest, I cook it fat side down the butt because the way I expose the money muscle. It's just a ton of little differences like that. And, of course, the adult beverages consumed, it is a lot more consumed at home than it is at the contest. The way I look at that whole scenario, I did not pay $1,500 to go let somebody watch me get intoxicated when I can do it for free at home. I would much rather make sure I turn in contest quality food and try to give it my all and win that contest after spending that amount of money on competition barbecue. Yeah. It's not always been that way with me.
No, either. It hasn't. All right. What have been the lowest and highest points of your competition barbecue days?
Wow, lowest and highest points of my competition barbecue days. I honestly have to say, probably the highest point would definitely have to be winning 2 contests in the same day. So the 2 times that I've won the duels and, won a grand in reserve on the 3rd time for Virginia, those were definitely some of the highest days. And probably outranking those would be our 2022 Memphis in May win. Walking that big stage, getting that first place trophy. That was my first time to make finals and to win first place. It's just a feeling I'll never forget. The lows of competition barbecue, going week in, week out, and not winning a thing. Wondering why, what had changed, the judges. You just really got to be consistent. So I have really seen the lows and I've seen the highs. And the lows, of course, are no fun. But if you work and do the right thing and stay off those adult beverages, you will never be in the lower end of it. The people that stay in the lower end is the people that don't want to put in the work for it.
Good answer. When I smoke protein, and in parentheses it says ribs, above 200, the reading goes down instead of up when I cook it longer. What's going on here?
Well, I can tell you, if I'm reading this question right, at a lower smoke temp, your ribs are going to finish at a lower temp. So if you're cooking at 225 degrees, those ribs are probably going to be done around 190 to 195. To where if you're cooking over, 275, 300 degrees, 250 even, that rib is not going to be done over 200 degrees. And so it just depends on the time and heat always take a toll. The lower you cook, the lower the finish tip is going to be. The higher you cook, the higher the finish temp is going to be. I hope that explains and answers that question.
How would you go about cooking your smoked cheeseburger queso in the oven? Any changes in the cooking process?
I can't say that I would. I would just, basically on those quesos, you're mixing everything up after you brown your ground beef and throw it in a pan anyway. So putting it in a Dutch oven and throwing it in there on a disposable pan, I would let it go so long and then stir it up and let it go so long and keep stirring it up. Just as simple.
All right, last one. Do you prefer to cook MBN or KCBS?
Kind of depends on what kind of week I'm having. Probably I do prefer MBN because you can go cook one category and win the whole contest. Sure. I do like cooking ribs. I can get away with cooking 6 or 8 racks at an MBN contest only. And winning the contest if the judges agree. With KCBS, you've got to cook brisket, chicken, ribs, and pork. It's 4 turn-ins, which means it's 4 things to trim, 4 things to babysit, overnight cooks, everything else. So I would definitely have to say MBN for me in my older age. I'm not as I'm just not trying to burn up the circuit anymore. So if I'm going to go cook, it's definitely just going to be a rib only somewhere 99% of the time.
That's all the questions.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our little recap today of our Orlando, Florida trip, the Ace Hardware Trade Show, and all the fine establishments that we visited and ate. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching and following along every week. We'll see you next week on Shooting the Q.
Thank you for tuning in to the Shooting the Q podcast. If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media channels or through our website. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Leave us a review if you enjoyed the show. Until next time, keep shooting the Q.